All right, welcome those watching on Twitch and Twitter. This is going to be another Alpha Sharks overview, and today we'll be going over the trading view portion of the tool. This is going to be the US friendly time zone live stream for this week. We'll be letting a few people jump in here real quick, and we'll jump right into it. All right, welcome those watching on Twitch and Twitter. Today we'll be going over an Alpha Sharks overview, and we'll be honing in on the trading view portion of the view. So we're going to pretty much jump right into that. Let's pop up my screen right here. All right, so here we can see the Alpha Sharks trending page. And first thing I like to go into myself is 24-hour volume. Again, this is something I like to go over to see where the normalcy is throughout the day. And again, something like 200 ETH could be very little on the day compared to something like 681 ETH. So something to kind of take a look at if you're just jumping into the markets just straight away. Because some days 200 ETH could be the highest volume ETH traded. So jumping into here and kind of looking at how high the demand actually is going to help us out a bit. So let's actually take a look. Prisoner of War, actually lots of sales going on with that. 220 ETH volume traded, pretty decent amount. Proof of Pepe, 237 ETH volume traded, with just about the same amount of sales. So also something to keep an eye on. Crypto Semeji, this one we had talked about yesterday. For those who actually stopped by the live stream, this one was a big one that was popping up, and I don't recall what the floor was at, but I believe it was at about half of what we're looking at right now. I believe it was sitting at like 0.1. This one is also, has tons of ETH volume traded, 681 ETH. Definitely going to be one on the list. So anything with pretty much triple digit ETH volume traded is going to be on our radar. So as we go on to smaller time frames, that's where we're going to look for pretty much narrowing down the projects that we're going to be looking at for potentially live trades. So let's jump into an hour chart. And again, going to be doing the same thing, looking at our volume ETH traded and trying to see if we see ones that pretty much popped up on the 24-hour volume ETH traded as well. So Prisoner of War, again, kind of pops up here. Notice now double-digit ETH volume traded is pretty much quote-unquote normal. So 14 ETH, 14 ETH. We can see single-digit ETH volume traded is probably something that's not ran as of yet, or not has had as much volume as of yet. But doesn't mean that it actually can't run. Maybe just means that some projects are barely minting out, or potentially just means that there's no demand. For example, something like this, we can see that this probably just minted because actually just has about no sales. Again, Crypto Semeji with 9 ETH volume traded, pushing about that double-digit ETH. So another one to kind of keep a look at here. So let's jump into a smaller time frame, like a 15-minute, and pretty much do the same thing here. Notice this one, my Cyborg Sun keeps popping up as well. Has 21 transactions going on, so it's probably one we're going to be looking at here as well. But nonetheless, still looking at the volume ETH traded. Notice Prisoner of War has actually traded more ETH volume in the last 15 minutes. Though it's had less sales, it has traded more ETH volume, actually doubled the amount pretty much. So definitely something to keep an eye on here. Let's go down the line and we can see stuff not even pushing 1 ETH volume traded, with 8 Liens NFT pushing 1 ETH volume traded. Crypto Semeji again pops up here on the 15-minute. Less sales going on, but this one was our highest ETH volume traded on the 24 hours. So this one is definitely one to keep an eye on. Surprised at, let's see who's actually held their NFT. So you have Meebits, some Mutant Apes, Gutter Cat Gang, Moonbirds, VFriend, Murakami, Cool Cats, Goblins, Azuki, Doodles. So some pretty prominent projects. Surprised that this doesn't have a blue chip percentage on it as of yet. Pushing that 6, getting to that 7% range. So yeah, this is one to definitely keep an eye on. Just strictly based on volume and the wallets that have minted here. So pretty cool pop-up that you can see with the Alpha Sharks tool. You can pretty much see who has actually interacted with the project itself. And getting feedback on that is huge, because you can see either very prominent projects as opposed to, let's see, something like, I'm trying to find something with no volume. Something like this, where it only has about a few wallets, notable wallets that are actually being held. So pretty cool metric that we have just to pop up right on the right side of us. But let's jump into our viewpoint actually, because we do have some volume kind of transacting right now. So let's jump into my Cyborg Sun. Going to jump into our view, and here going to change, as opposed to ranks, I'm going to change it by P&L, meaning profit and loss. So the people who sold in profit are going to be the ones that are green, and the people who sold for loss are going to be the ones that are in red. I like to open this up kind of as far back as I can. If there's no sales that far back, it'll just open up to the first open sale that it actually had. So let's actually jump in here. Let's look at the stats that we actually have. So owner to supply, not pushing that 50% that we personally like to push, but again, doesn't really mean that this project cannot push. Just means that our walls are going to be a little thicker to kind of get through, because what this is saying is that if we look down here, we're more likely to see more people with 10 plus tokens, 5 to 9 tokens, and 2 to 4 tokens, because again, there's less owners to supply. If there are more owners and more owners to supply, then we would ideally see a lot more greens being posted, because I would say that ideally there'd be more people in the project that are just holding one of the actual token. So again, a thinner wall to get through if you are looking to get a higher owner to supply ratio. The next number we're going to look at is going to be our MBCP. MBCP again pushing 5 to 7 to 10%. Those are the ones that you can actually start potentially seeing for potential swing trades at that point, because not only are the audiences that blue chip holders actually bring to the table are looking at the project, but if some type of news catalyst comes out, or if there's some type of demand push by the project, just having the eyes on it gives it a higher potential for demand to come in at that point. So seeing this is going to be seeing this rise over time is definitely going to be a key metric to push that into swing. So definitely want to look at if you're looking to go into a longer term position. Next thing we're going to look at is going to be our listings. So our amount of listings to our supply is actually pretty solid. We're sitting under that 10% that we actually like. So um, it's that portion here is telling us that though that there are many people who hold numerous assets, the walls to get to higher price targets are going to be a lot thinner at this point because there's only 10% of the total supply actually in circulation. So if actually a few gem sweeps come through here and you start to see delisting start happening, this is when you can start to see kind of like FOMO buy-in starting to come in, or even potential alpha calls starting to come in. And you can see that strictly through the demand that's flowing through. If you happen to get an alpha call on a project, something like this, you'll start to see these start to flow up, kind of like we're getting right now. We could start seeing this trend on like IC tools and some other platforms. Um, and you'll know once we actually do see an alpha call, you'll see tons of transactions just flow in at one time. And most times you'll see ones with numerous transactions going at the same time, and that's how you know it's kind of a differentiator of just random volume as opposed to alpha call volume, or somebody making some type of news catalyst or some type of again some type of call. Um, so pretty neat that we're actually getting these live views. But one thing I did want to kind of jump in on, oh, we did have a question from Prolific. Can you go over how to Instabuy? How to Instabuy? You would just have your wallet connected, click buy. Oh, shit. There you go. But yeah, it should initiate that transfer, and it should pop up into MetaMask, and you should just be able to buy that. The Instabuy feature, I would. That will be in probably the next one. We're going to try to focus more on the trading view aspect today. Yesterday, that's not good. Yesterday we did get to go over a little bit of the trading view portion of for the EU friendly time zone. Today I do want to go over the trading view portion for the US friendly time zone. So for those who are actually just getting into the project or just seeing this update, you can actually change the mode on your charting system up top here. So you can change it from AS Expert mode to Trading View mode. And one major thing is you're going to see the difference in plots of sales. So what I mean by that is in AS Expert mode, you're going to see plot charts, meaning you're going to see every individual sale that's kind of going on. When you go into Trading View, the default setting should be set to candlesticks. And what the candlesticks is, they're going to give you the same information, but they're going to give it to you over a period of time. So what the candlesticks are saying is, hey, we opened up at one price and then we ended up closing at another price, but all the price action that has happened is within this candlestick. So it's just a different display of how the price action is actually calculating, or displaying actually. And you can see the calculations on the right hand side where we have 0.0006 on the bottom, and we can see right now the last trade on OS was actually 0.01, and that's where we're actually sitting at with the price action right now. We do have another question. Yes, we'll be going over that Insta buy feature for sure. Um, but trying to focus on this one. Um, Again, one thing I did hone on to for yesterday's live stream, going over not only the trading view portion and getting used to kind of candlesticks or even kind of bouncing between both charts, because people will start to find their preference, whether they like plot charts or they like candlesticks or they like a combination of both. Um, and I think messing around with both charting systems is going to help you out a ton. Um, if you're not very tech savvy, I would take the time to try to mess with some settings on TradingView because I do believe that their charting system is probably one of the best in the industry. And there's a reason why lots of companies try to emulate TradingView because their system is very sound, very well built. Um, and one major thing I have really honed in on yesterday's live stream is jumping in on the indicators. And there are going to be a ton. If you scroll down here, you can go down the list for days pretty much going through each individual indicator. We'll be going through each individual indicator, or at least most of the ones that we find pretty useful over time, but don't get information overload because this is, you can have, again, all the best indicators on your charts, but if you don't know what they mean, then it's not really doing anything for you. So we're going to kind of take it really slow. And if you've been attending the last live streams where we didn't have TradingView, it should seem somewhat familiar to you because the first thing we're going to be going over is volume. Volume and trend lines. And we've been doing that since pretty much the live streams have started. So now that we have TradingView and we have other indicators that we can implement and actual drawing tools that we can actually draw on the chart with, we are going to start getting a little more in depth with the charting platform. So I'm really kind of pushing for people to mess around with TradingView as much as they can. So first thing I want people to do is, I believe when you pop up the chart, you're going to have volume sitting, I believe it's up here. You should have it sitting up here somewhere. And you might have red and green candles and no white line here. All you would need to do is go into style. You can change the colors however you'd like. So usually falling is red and the growing candles are green. I like to change it to blue and yellow, just personal preference, and turning on an average for the volume, because again, we always talk about if we see average volume increasing over time, then that's a pretty solid sign to for continuation, because we're always looking for anything that's tied to our supply or demand model, and that's definitely one thing that we're going to want to look at. Another thing I do is you can pretty much, it's very customizable with what you can do with indicators here. So let's say you didn't like it like just sitting on your candlesticks, which personally I don't. So this is what I like to do. You can click the three little dots here on the right hand side and you can move to a pane below. And what that's going to do is now split the chart for you here, which is pretty cool because now you have pretty much a pane down here where you can fully open up the chart by just double clicking the chart. And if you double click again, it pops up your volume. So if you just want to see price action, you can just double click the candlesticks and you're good. If you want to bring that back, you can see the volume pop up as well. the cool thing about this too is you can, let's say this is too small for you and you're like, I can't really see. You can double click the volume and zoom in that way as well, and literally see how the volume is actually playing out. And you can draw, make drawing tools, change colors here, change thicknesses, change pretty much everything that you want here. So it's a very, very useful tool to utilize, because this is pretty much what we talk about all the time, right? We always talk about our volume. We always want to see our volume rising, which here, sales count, we want to see our volume rising and our listings to be decreasing. So we can see if we can start here, if we start topping out at listings and our listings start to decrease and our sales start to come in, we'll start to see price actually start to rise. Again, not much because of the range that we're playing at. I mean, we're sitting at 0.001, but percentage change wise, that's a 20% move. So kind of doing this again over and over and over again is going to help us out. And playing with or doing this analysis on ones with bigger range is where you're probably going to see it work out a lot more. Because adding liquidity to what we're looking at, whatever projects we're looking at, is going to help out the technicals a lot more. Do you have a question? James, I have a question. It was said that a bidding feature is coming in a few days. Do you know when it will be available? I do not know when the bidding will be available. Again, I know we've had it or have had it in the past. I'm not informed on that personally, but if I hear that, I will get that to you ASAP. First name basis, what's good, man? How's it going? Cool. Awesome. So that is one thing I wanted to go over, was going to be volume. Again, for those who have stopped by the last live streams, this is pretty much something we've talked about all the time inside the Alpha Sharks view. We always talk about seeing increase in volume and seeing the deduction in volume and kind of correlating that with our listings here. So now we actually get a little bit, little more depth here with the candlesticks portions, because right now, I guess jumping into the other portion we're going to jump into is trend lines. Trend lines are going to be huge, pretty much one of our best friends, because trend lines are pretty much giving us two things. They're breaking down one range for us, and when you combine two trend lines together, they're creating one major range. So we can see here at the top portion, notice how price action is actually respecting that. Yeah, we broke up top a little bit, but then snapped right below that. And then here we did have a case where we did get sales below, right below this last low, but still finally considered making an official range. So sitting down here at 0.05 to our 0.13, that's a, what is that, 0.08 or 0.008 range that we're playing within. So right now we still haven't broken either of those last highs. Notice that here. Let me draw this. So if you guys can see this white kind of squiggle I've drawn, this here is showing us that we're just in accumulation phase right now, for a bigger picture move that we're looking to play again. We're still playing within the two ranges that we've solidified down here. And we're either going to see one of two things happen right here, guys. We're going to see either a breakout in price action with listings starting, oops, forget that you can't draw with that on TradingView. You would like to see listings decrease here if we start to see price actually or demand start to come in here. That would be ideal. But on the other hand, if we start to see listings actually break out of the last highs, then and we see demand still lacking here, or even staying straight flatlined, we'll likely see our price action start to decrease here over time. But we can see how our drawing, just our drawing tools alone with TradingView is pretty much worth it. We can see literally see the price action and how that's correlating with the technical aspect. And notice here our average volume, it's going to be the white line. You guys can, I'll try to make that a little thicker here. Right here. So notice average volume. Again, we're starting to go lower over time. And what's average volume kind of telling us? It's literally telling us average demand. And it's telling us we're on a downward slope. Until we actually start to break out of that, then we're actually going to start to, we're going to keep decreasing at this point. But there are, again, other factors that we have to look at, because listings are in a very solid spot where, again, they have to pick a position. They're in pretty much the same pattern that this overall chart is in. Notice that. That's pretty funny. We're either going to get the breakout of listings. Again, either people start listing a lot or people start buying it up and start delisting at this point. So we're pretty much at an apex point of where this project is pretty much going to make a move. First name basis, can you check out Crypto Symegy on Viewed, seeing it being called in alpha groups? For sure, that is definitely one I do want to keep an eye on. Crypto Symegy. I believe we were talking about this yesterday. Is it trending so I can get that up? Where are you at, Crypto? There you go. Okay. First name basis. Dude, I like this chart a lot, man. I don't say that a lot. All right. First, let's break down again. Let's go through the overview of breaking down the project. Owner supply pushing that 50%, which is what we'd like to see. MBCP pushing that 6, 7 to 10%. Definitely something we want to see rise over time. This number is going to be key. If you see this number start to drop over time while breaking this major trend line, that is not going to be a good sign. The reason we're pushing up right here is honestly because technically we're just holding trend. We really haven't broken trend at all. We're testing trend for sure. These people got some solid dip buys off the fear. But we start to snap this, that's going to be some nice retrace that we're going to be looking for. But if we start to hold this and we start seeing listings again start to decrease over time, we start to see 1 hour cancels rise, our volume actually starts to increase here. Again, listings start to go down. It's kind of an accumulation of things. This could be a very solid entry right here, but could also be a very solid exit depending on where people end up getting in. Like first name basis. Yeah, I minted for, what was that? Yeah, minted for free and sold for 0.04 like a paper hand. Thanks for breaking it. Oh, no worries, man. It happens. I mean, de-risking is part of the game, man, and if you made profit on it, that's all that matters. You gotta just move on to the next one. But this chart here is pretty solid. let's actually break down just technically wise what has kind of happened. So right here, we're actually on a 15-minute chart. Let's stay on that actually. Um, and again, going to have our volume down here. Again, we're working with two indicators. It's going to be volume and our trend line. If for those who haven't used the trend line tool, you can just pop up, click this tool, it'll turn blue. You can click it, click one point, click another point, and yours probably won't be yellow, it'll probably be blue. You can change the color to whatever you want, the opacity to how visible you want to see it, how thick or thin you want the line to actually be, whether that's a solid line, dotted line, dashed line. You can pretty much do anything you'd like there. I like extending mine to the right personally, because I like to see the trend lines, how they kind of work over time. Notice I just drew from point A to point B right here, but notice how the price action respected that on the continuation to the right side of the trend line. So that's kind of why I like to extend those lines to the right. But if we actually move this to another spot, again, we can see how price action kind of correlates off of the trend line itself. We can see we have solid support sitting right here at the trend line, but because of what reason? One thing we always talk about, which is going to be our volume. Notice right where we're sitting at the trend line, where we could have pulled right back down, right where the volume actually had came in. And this is why we utilize volume and trend lines so heavily, because that right there is literally giving us the heads up, hey, is this the top, or is this going to have more room to run? And this here is pretty much giving us the visual indication saying, hey, you're good, you got room to run. The volume's still coming in. We actually have more volume coming in than the prior last 10, 15 candlesticks that we're looking at. So just one portion that you can look at right there. But you come up to another spot saying, hey, we went through this accumulation phase again, we're still trending, we're holding the trend line, but we got to this portion here saying, hey, are we going to get the break out, or are we going to snap the trend line and lose the volume here? And notice exactly what happened. The same thing. We have sitting pretty much directly on that trend line, and notice what happens with our volume. We get the exact same breakout move that we had with on the other breakout. Notice that increase in volume as well, and the correlation with price action that is actually happening at this point. So again, this is all being drawn just with a trend line and volume. This is no other special indicators that we're pretty much utilizing. It's just looking at the volume. And one major thing to look at too is when utilizing the volume and the trend line, if you're in a momentum play, to utilize your bottom charts that you have access to. These are going to be very huge at these positions that we're looking at, especially near trend lines. Because again, what are the momentum charts telling you? They're telling you the amount of sales that are happening as opposed to the amount of listings. So again, directly correlated to supply and demand. Is supply overtaking demand, or is demand overtaking supply? And here we can visually see sales started coming in. We don't have this information here, but I can pretty much guarantee you that the listing started to decrease here as well. And that would have given you the indication that we're actually going to get the continuation push as opposed to the rejection here. So again, this is a very powerful tool that, again, I'm trying to hone in on you guys to utilize very heavily, because lots of people ask, like, how do you know when there's going to be the topping or it's a bottoming? And there's no straightforward answer to that. It's kind of, again, accumulation of things. But this charting system is going to help you out a ton if you start to do this over and over and over again. You'll see the correlation saying like, hey, it's not holding a particular trend line, and my volume started to decrease, and it actually snapped below it, and you can see why potential trades actually didn't work out or why they actually did. So um, that is something I'm trying to push into you guys, to draw your trend lines and to focus on the volume, because those are two very, very, very key indicators that we now get access to with the TradingView tool. So yeah, let me see if we have somebody here. All right. Okay. Guess I got in late. How do I use the TradingView with Alpha Sharks? Just a tad bit late. Jay Ridiculous. Yeah, we're pretty much just wrapping up the session. We are going to be holding these sessions twice a week, Monday and Tuesday. Monday being at 2 p.m. Eastern, and Tuesdays being at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Again, they're about an hour long, and trying to make it as efficient and worth it for everybody's time as possible. Prolific. Can we slip chart layouts? Yes. Great question. On the layout portion, what he's speaking about is, let's say you actually have, let's go into settings, and let's say instead of a black background, let's say I wanted a white background. Jesus, that's crazy. You can actually save that template with your drawings and your indicators, and actually have that saved as a layout that you can then load out later. So I have this layout saved where I have a black background and my volume bars are colored the way I like them, and put into the view that I like them as well. So you can save that as of right now. You will see some bugs with saving the templates for particular drawing tools. Right now we're trying to get that fixed. But for the most part, it should be very functional. But yeah, those who have had TradingView or have had experience with TradingView, definitely mess around with it and reach out to me, because I love hearing people's kind of views on this. I really think this is game changing to what we're doing here. I really think it's a proprietary system that we have, and I think it's only getting better. And that's not possible without any of you guys. So yeah, just wanted to give thanks there. Because yeah, again, none of this is possible without any of you guys coming to these sessions or just holding a sharks just in general. So yeah, appreciate that. Slappy. How do you separate the volume on the bottom? I really like that, but can't find it. So check it out. You're going to change it to whatever candlestick you like. You don't have to do this, but so ideally you'll have it initially. You'll have it something set up like this, where your volume will kind of overlay your volume candles. I mean your chart candlesticks. And what I like to do is to move to new pane below. So what that'll do is it'll now split your two charts. So now you have your indicators on the bottom, but you can still have your chart kind of popped up, and you can either make that really big, really small, and kind of set that as you wish. Good question. Okay. Let me see if we have any more questions. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, no worries, Slappy. Appreciate the question, man. All right. Going to bring up Nonchalant. He's going to be doing the giveaway roll today. Let me see if he's here. Papa Blaze, who won the giveaway yesterday? We did have posted the winners inside the chat. It was Cereal and G to the O. That was posted. I'll bump that. It was actually bumped right there. Cool. So Nonchalant is going to share his screen. If you guys jump in there, you guys will have a full wheel layout of everybody who's been participating, and it will be the giveaway. They will post what the giveaway will be inside the chat itself, but good luck to everybody that has come down, and again, appreciate you guys coming down here and taking the time to go over sharks with us today. So you're all good, Nonchalant. Whenever you get the chance, you can spin the wheel, and then if you could take a screenshot and drop that in the Educator chat. And if you happen to win one of the giveaways, make sure to open up a ticket immediately. So good luck to everybody, and you're all good, Nonchalant. Alright, let's see who's got it. Alright, so Nonchalant is going to drop the winners inside the Educator chat, and we will actually start to get you guys your prizes. So again, thank you guys to everybody who has actually came out. We do really appreciate the engagement and the interaction that comes with being here. Again, we know that you guys don't have to be here, and again, we're looking to make this the best tool possible. And again, without you guys, it's definitely something we can't do. So hoping you guys can help get the word out, whether if that's a follow, a tweet, anything, pretty much helps us out. If you guys can shoot a follow or a retweet, that would be awesome. Helps out with the algorithm. Maybe tell a friend. That would be awesome too. But yeah, if you guys found any value in this, would appreciate just any help, any support would be pretty cool. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming down. And if you guys are interested in more of these, we do hold these twice a week. Mondays 2 p.m. Eastern, Tuesdays 7:15 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out. My DMs on Discord always open. DMs on Twitter always open. My Twitter and Twitch information is in my Discord. You guys can ping me, tweet me, whatever you guys need to do, and I will be able to get back to you guys ASAP. So yeah, again, appreciate you guys coming out, and make sure you guys draw your trend lines and utilize the volume profile that we are kind of going over. Next week we'll kind of go a little deeper into that as well. So we'll be looking to jump into that. But again, appreciate you guys coming out, and I will catch you guys next time. May your guys' bags be fun. Peace.